We got Jacob in the room. Love it. Guys, this is we're continuing off of our last live about what happens to your body and the scariest and darkest moments of your life when you're in the operating room, like the one I'm in right now. This is a real life operating room, and I'm going to connect myself to real life support monitors so you guys can learn just what happens to your body and how much control you have over what happens to your body. So, the EKGs kind of sting a little bit to put on, but totally worth it for you guys' education. So I have a 3-lead EKG here. Hey Heidi, hey Jay, Jacob, excellent, love it. I'm gonna keep putting these on me here so that you can see my heart rate variability, the changes in my heart rate, and I have a blood pressure cuff in here. And oh, hey, it's good to know that Jay is Pickles from TikTok. I wondered who Jay was. All right, who else? Hazel, Soph, Michelle, awesome. All right, putting on the last EKG again here. Okay, so what do we got? My EKG is gonna pop up on here. I'm gonna crank up the volume so you can hear it. And I'm even gonna put the pulse oximeter on this time as well. And yes, I do have a little blood pressure cuff in this room. As promised, the blood pressure cuff will go on. And I will say, my autonomic nervous system, probably like most of your guys's, it's a little bit out of whack at the end of the night, especially after we've eaten, because the blood goes to your intestines, right? It's not circulating like it is normally in the in the fasted state. Your blood circulation is different than in the postprandial state, as we say. But I still think we can do a little bit of blood pressure changes here, even though I just had dinner, even though it's late at night, etc., etc. So, John from Kenya, good to see you. All right. So, we're going to do a baseline blood pressure reading on me. You know, you can put the blood pressure anywhere really in your body. We like to do it above the elbow because it's simple there, but when you're in the operating room, sometimes you have to put the blood pressure cuff in different places because there's surgery in those other body parts. So got to be creative, and it can safely be measured in other places, like me doing it on my forearm right now. All right, who wants to take a guess at what my blood pressure is going to be? Yeah, those veins are popping out right now. Okay, so that's my EKG. That's my pulse ox. The blood pressure is cycling right now. My hand is getting numb. That's right, because it's putting so much pressure on. Let's see what the number is. This will be our baseline reading, and then we'll see what happens as I do some of those breathing exercises and I increase my parasympathetic tone. All right. What does it say? 133/77. Heidi, thank you for the kind, I wish it was a number that you said. And from Maine, hey, so cool to see you on from Maine. I love it. Okay, so you saw my baseline number. Everyone here, full disclosure, my body is like a laboratory for you guys to learn from, right? I even have the carbon dioxide monitor I'll put on in a little bit as well, because I promised you that I would simulate what the rapid shallow breathing of a panic attack looks like, right? But first, let's look at the relaxing, more parasympathetic dominant state, right? Because before surgery with my patients, I don't want them to go into a panic attack, right? I want to do everything that leads into the opposite. I'm just going to, remind you that when this mask goes on, I don't want patients to be hyperventilating and doing rapid shallow breathing. That's not helpful before we go under anesthesia. It's not helpful if you're having a panic attack. It's not helpful, quite frankly, for any time in your life unless you're purposely trying to wind yourself up, which some people do, maybe before, some sporting events, some people want to warm themselves up. You can do that, but that's not what I'm here to talk about. Instead, it's how can you breathe to increase your heart rate variability, increase your parasympathetic tone, and lower your blood pressure, right? You guys set me up to the challenge, and I'm going to try to do it right now. So, first begins by breathing mindfully. So you can hear my heart rate. This is the cool thing about me doing these lives with you is that I'm opening up my body to you guys. So you get a window literally into like the life support systems that I use for patients under anesthesia. You see them under, with me as in talking to you. You can hear my variability change as we're talking. I'm going to bring this a little bit closer so that hopefully you can see the numbers in the monitor a little bit more clearly. Good. Can everyone see the monitors here? All right. Can everyone hear the change in my heart rate? I'm not even using the 10 cc syringe. I can get it if you want. But everyone can hear how I've made some changes to my heart rate. That's 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out. Can everyone hear that? So when you're doing aromatherapy, by the way, just because you can hear this, this is one of the benefits of aromatherapy. Isn't just from the aroma itself, but it's because it helps people breathe more slowly, particularly exhaling more slowly. And we believe that's some of the anti-nausea effect and some of the relaxing effect. Even when people are smoking joints, people go what? They're doing the breathing like that, right? So is it the joint? Is it the breathing? Is it both? I'm not going to comment except to say that there's probably more going on than just the substance. A lot of it is also the vagus nerve that you have control over without any aromatherapy, without any alcohol pad, right? Jay says that they're a breath holder. You know, Jay, many people are breath holders. It's totally natural, especially when you're anxious, to be a breath holder, right? But that's why the key is mindful breathing, conscientious breathing, and being present with yourself. The greatest gift is probably being present with yourself, right? Now, as you hear my heart rate change, five seconds in, 5 seconds out. We'll see if the blood pressure has changed yet. Can everyone hear the heart rate variability? Right? All right, 126/78. So given that I did everything that you're not supposed to do when they're taking your blood pressure, you're not supposed to be talking, not supposed to be especially talking on live, not supposed to be sitting up like this. Everything in my positioning is wrong for a blood pressure measurement. It still went down, what is it, 5 points, 6 points, 7 points just by, just by breathing, right? How much do you think amlodipine, 5 milligrams, lowers your blood pressure? Probably the same, right? This is just from breathing for a couple of minutes. I brought my blood pressure down. I've lowered it even more, and I can do it if I keep doing this, right? And if I actually follow the rules of not talking on live and getting all excited and jumping up and down. But isn't that cool? This is on par with low levels of blood pressure medications without any of the side effects, but with the added benefits of maybe helping your mental health be improved, because the better your heart health, usually the better your mental health. Certainly the better chance of reducing early onset dementia and other neurocognitive disease, excuse me, right? Okay. Hey, Jay told their psychiatrist about the Valsalva breathing with the syringe. That's awesome. Jay, do you feel comfortable sharing with us how that went? I got my 5 cc syringe here. And yes, for those of you guys who are wondering, he wastes so many materials. No, it's the same 10 cc syringe I've been using since we first started doing this together on lives, right? We can do this as well. 1, 2, 3. Pretty cool stuff, huh? All right, do I hold my breath in for any amount of time? Paula Merrill. Okay, great question. So the trick here is that there's no one trick. It's whatever resonates with you for breathing. Personally, I find that 5 in, 5 out is easier to do with patients when they're about to go under anesthesia. And it's easier for myself. I don't like to do 4-7-8 breathing. Even though my mentor, Dr. Andrew Weil, was all about 4-7-8 breathing, I'm not really about it. I just like 5 in, 5 out. In the data, in the papers you read, you want to be breathing about 6 breaths per minute. So what's 6 breaths a minute? It's 10 seconds per breath. 10 seconds for breath is 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out. That's all I'm doing here. And it's through the diaphragm. It's not through the intercostal muscles. And it's with, excuse me, with my tongue on the top of my mouth. That naturally helps slow down your breathing, slows down your exhalation. And that's usually when a lot of us don't really focus on exhaling slowly. It's probably the easiest way to lower your respiratory rate. Cool, if you guys are learning something, do please hit that like button, share with others. Your support helps me do this more often. Especially on YouTube, I'm trying to push more and more content on here and publish more content that I think you guys will really benefit from and learn and enjoy and hopefully have some fun with it. So the more you can hit that like button, subscribe, and share with others really helps support me to do this more often. I really appreciate it as we all try to learn more about our bodies to live healthier and hopefully with fewer medications. Now, yes, I am in an operating room, and this is like the most intense area of the world because, for one, we wipe your memories when you come in here, but two, also because it might be super scary to be in here. You're kind of giving up all the control of your body. You're being knocked unconscious, stripped naked, like a scary place. But when I show patients how they can control all these numbers on the monitor, control this much of their body, it helps empower them in ways that they didn't know possible. That helps them tap into their inner healing potential. And that is the light of epiphany that I love seeing in my patients. So if you're learning stuff, keep it up and share with others. Now, I wanted to simulate what hyperventilation looks like, right? Awesome. Oh, and hey, Heidi, thank you for mentioning the Discord. You're right. On the Discord, we keep up to date with all sorts of fun stuff. Okay. So, Kirsten, I'm going to need to try this syringe thing. I got a bunch of them. Awesome, Kirsten. Why isn't propofol? Okay, Cynthia, propofol is used for surgeries. I use it every day. Maybe you're thinking of sodium thiopental or pentothal. Pentothal is not used anymore because of controversy over the death penalty and using it for lethal injection. Becchio has their first surgery in a couple of weeks and they're scared. Well, Becchio, I wish you the best of luck. I hope everyone here sends you warm fuzzies for your surgery that's coming up. I hope you're learning stuff from all these videos and all the information that I publish. Hey, check out the blogs on my art and my website where I talk more about these fun things as well. And remember, the more prepared you are, the better you can, or the more smooth and safe your surgery can be. My blood pressure went back up again because I'm moving my hands and all that, and I'm so excited to be here with you all. But I'm happy you saw it go down a little bit earlier. Okay. Yeah, so Becchio, just to remind you, the more prepared you are, right, safer and more comfortable your surgery, and it can come from a ton of different reasons we can talk about if you want, but check out the articles that I published on this. We go into more depth there. All right. David, I have very bad anxiety. When I take my blood pressure, it always shows it high because of my anxiety. How do I calm down when I get my blood pressure checked? Well, hey, okay. Well, you can do what I just did here by focusing on your breathing, literally resetting your autonomic nervous system with the syringe, with the Valsalva maneuver, however you want to do it, doesn't matter. But the key is that your breathing can override a lot of the blood pressure increasing effects of anxiety. And you can control that because you can control your breathing. You just need to count in for 5 seconds, count out for 5 seconds. Helps to put your hand over your chest to focus on diaphragmatic breathing instead of shallow breathing through your chest, right? These are all tips to help do that. Great question. Cynthia, when you get a colonoscopy, we use propofol with an F. I don't place breathing tubes for colonoscopies or endoscopies, you're right, because I use much lower doses and I don't use other medications that turn off your breathing reflexes. That's right. Anesthesia actually turns off the vital reflexes in your body, like the one for breathing, the one for your heart, and the one, of course, for your memory formation. And because you don't want to wake up with PTSD, and right, you want your mind to be turned off for surgery, right? But it comes at the expense of turning off your breathing as well. So propofol at low enough doses can preserve enough breathing that with a face mask, you don't get hypoxic and have organ damage. I hope that answers your question, Cynthia. Awesome. All right, guys. Finally, are we going to do our hyperventilation thing now? Okay, so here we go. It's like a laboratory here. Okay. Okay, very good. And before I do that, I'm going to point out what Heidi said. Heidi, thank you so much for responding to Jay's comment, because what you just said is so powerful. It doesn't take, I mean, right now I can do this with a couple breaths. You see me changing my body, manipulating my heart, my blood pressure, etc. I've been doing this for years. I do it with patients every day. It took me years to get here. Years. This is not for the light of heart, right? There's certain things you can do to speed up the process. Absolutely. I love certain supplements, certain botanicals. We talked about them before that can help jumpstart the process, right? But to gain mastery, don't expect it to happen from just one live session or just one breathing session. You don't go to a psychiatrist or a therapist once. You don't do CBT just once and expect to get better. No. These things can take time. And even seeing a little bit of improvement over a couple of weeks or months without any medications, maybe even turning down your medication dosages for other medications, that's the power that you're tapping into with your inner healing potential. So Heidi, I'm so happy that you don't feel disappointed or frustrated, but you actually looks like you're quite empowered to keep making these gains, and I love it. And I hope that others appreciate that it's a little bit of a long haul game, but this is your life and your health you're talking about. What better to invest the positivity and the positive energy in than your own health? So with that being said, please hit the like button and share with others if you're liking this and learning, because it really helps me do this more often, and I would love to be able to do this with you all more often. The more we can remind ourselves about how much power we have, the more we can believe that, believe it or not, the more power we will have. It's a very self-serving closed loop system. Hazel, Hazel, why do you get an asthma attack? Why do you think that's going on? Hazel, did you know that human beings can cause their own asthma attacks? I'm not saying all asthma attacks are triggered by ourselves, but beautiful studies from Brigham and Women's Hospital, like in the 70s and 60s, showed that people can trigger their own asthma attacks. They can also trigger their own asthma attacks to resolve. Did you know that? Right? I'm not saying that it's the only cause. There are many other chemical irritant causes, airway hyperreactivity from any number of reasons, right? But your mindset is also one of them, and it's the one that you have the most control over without the side effects of beta-2 agonists like albuterol. All right, my blood pressure is still 136, guys. I'm clearly way too excited here with y'all. Okay. Are you put to sleep for ablation for SVT? Shannon, good question. Ablations, cardiac ablations. Did you know that anesthetics interfere with your heart so much that we actually can't use deep anesthesia for many ablations in the heart? Because if we give you too much anesthesia, the cardiologist can't actually test your heart's SVT to make sure that it was ablated. So that's what's one area. It's actually a really interesting point that you raised. One of the areas where hypnosis, clinical hypnosis, has incredible potential to help these surgeries that you can't tolerate anesthesia for go more smoothly. Crazy. I'm so happy that you brought that up. All right. And visual, oh yeah, I love visual stuff. Totally helps, Heidi. Guided imagery is actually very, very powerful. We'll talk more about it. Kirsten. Cool, Kirsten, it's awesome to hear these positive comments. How do you overcome anxiety? Gosh, Sana, good to see you on here. We've been talking about it. We'll talk about it again if you want, but I want to do the hyperventilation with you. I really want you to see. I want you to see this here because this is really powerful stuff. And I've had this face mask on for like 20 minutes now and I haven't done anything with it. So let's do it, all right? Okay. So what am I measuring here? I am measuring the carbon dioxide in the gray. In the gray is the carbon dioxide that I'm breathing out. Can everyone see that? Hey, can everyone give me a quick confirmation? Hey, can you all see the gray that represents my breathing? Can everyone see that? What's going on here? Sorry, my breath is a little bit muffled. I know it's a little muffled here, but it is what it is. Can everyone see the gray? People confirm for me. Can people see the gray on here? Good. Okay, Cynthia, very good. So, I am going to do 5 in, 5 out breathing first, so you can see what that looks like. And then, what is stuck in here? Sorry, guys. I have an EKG stuck in my face mask here. I'm going to do a 5 in, 5 out first, and then we're going to do the hyperventilation. And you're going to see the difference in my carbon dioxide levels, which correlates directly to your blood pH, which, by the way, guys, people try to sell you alkaline water and, pH balance this, pH balance that. You can balance your own pH with your kidneys if they work and with your breathing. And that's what we're doing here right now. So this is the best kind of pH balancing you can ever do for yourself, all right? So I'm going to do 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out. And I'm going to hold the camera a little bit closer so everyone can see. All right. So, and like Heidi's saying, if you guys are learning stuff, I would greatly appreciate if you could hop on the Discord and check out the website there, medicalsecretsmd.com, to keep up with all the stuff that I publish. And your support means a lot, so I can do this more often. All right. Let's get started, guys. 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out. What's going to happen here? Look at my breathing. All right. Oh, sorry, Heidi, I'm not on the Discord right now. I will do it after I'm done with this demo. We'll check the Discord. So look at my breathing here. So this is me breathing in. I have my CO2 monitor in here. Can everyone see how smooth up and down the gray is? Does everyone see the smooth gray in and out? Okay, so that is what breathing slowly does. Diaphragmatic breathing, getting all the carbon dioxide in and out. Now I'm going to show you what rapid shallow breathing looks like. All right, people had challenged me to doing 20 seconds in and out. So let's do it. All right. Oh, my blood pressure cuff is, look at the veins in my hand right now. The cuff is going up. Okay, so now let's do the rapid shallow breathing starting here. 1, 2, 3. Can everyone see this here? Look at my heart rate. Look at my heart rate, guys. The blood pressure is going right now as well. There's no more heart rate variability. Heart rate variability is gone. Blood pressure went from 126 systolic to 136. All right, and that's enough. Getting a little bit lightheaded. Okay, so did everyone see what happened there? That was just like a very controlled hyperventilation that mimics what you have when you have a panic attack. I didn't plug in the oxygen, so you actually saw maybe my O2 went down a little bit. Artifact or not, I can't really guarantee, but I didn't give myself any supplemental oxygen. So the masks, just so you're clear, I was rebreathing my own carbon dioxide. So what happened? The pulse ox may have gone down a little bit. The heart rate went up. The heart rate variability was completely abolished. And the blood pressure went up as well. Went up 10 points. I mean, it's like, wow, look at what your breathing alone and your mental state are doing to the rest of your body, to your heart, your blood vessels. I have a little bit of a headache almost from doing that. Wow. Shoot. Well, Paula, you're very welcome. Oh yeah, Heidi told me to check the Discord again. Let me hop on there. I closed my laptop. Let me check here. Wow, that was a pretty intense little That was a lot of hyperventilating there. I mean, shoot, when I get a headache from hyperventilating like that for just a cut, like not even 60 seconds, what happens to your body if you're doing that for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, right? People come to the ER sometimes hyperventilating, maybe not that dramatically, but for like half an hour, you know? Okay, so I'm on the Discord now. It's let's follow up these questions here. Creed, I use a 22 gauge for outpatient surgery, 20 gauge for some outpatient surgery, 18 and 16 for inpatient surgery. So Creed, it very much depends on the type of surgery, your health, and if you had trouble getting the IV, and I always have an ultrasound with me so that I don't have to dig around as much because digging sucks. It's painful. I also use a lot of lidocaine to minimize the discomfort. Okay, and now our last question, Heidi. Type 1 diabetics and insulin pumps. Yes, yes. About time we talked about this. Okay, that'll be our last question. Such an important topic. Such an important topic. Why is blood sugar so flipping important in the operating room, guys? Because when you're under anesthesia, you can't tell us if you're having a hypoglycemic reaction, right? Excuse me. When you're awake, you might feel what I just felt. Lightheadedness, sweaty. You might feel your heart rate going up because your heart's trying to beat faster because you're in this hypoglycemic state, right? You feel bad. But when you're under anesthesia, you can't tell us how you feel, right? So this is where you can run into trouble, because if you get hypoglycemic in the operating room, you might suffer a heart attack or a stroke or any other number of complications. And this is where I don't depend on patients' pumps ever. I ask them to turn the pumps off, because your blood sugar is totally disrupted by the anesthetic agents we give. We give steroids, we give you surgical stimulus. Surgery and pain can totally spike your blood sugar if you're diabetic or not. So I had to manually check my patient's insulin, depending on how brittle a diabetic they are. It might be once an hour, once every 2 hours, once every 2.5 hours, or maybe once every 30 minutes. Depends on the patient. But I need to check it because I cannot let them get hypoglycemic. And if they are, I need to give them IV dextrose. We can't give you orange juice or cookies or anything, right? IV dextrose, boom, and check again 15 minutes later, 20 minutes later, is what I do. Pumps are programmed for regular life. The operating room and surgery ain't nothing like regular life, right? The medications we give, the surgery going on, are going to cause your blood sugar to do things that it's never done before. And not to mention you've been fasting for probably at least 8, if not 12 hours. Your body is in a totally different state than it usually is. Those pumps are not programmed for the chaos of the operating room. They're programmed for the chaos of everyday life. So I don't depend on those. In any anesthesiologist, we always have to go based on our measurements. Good question, Heidi. So I think we're going to review the last questions here. I'm going to call it a night here so I can get ready for my cases tomorrow. Thank you so much for the kind words, everyone. Thank you, Cynthia. Thank you, Heidi. Thank you, Jay, Kirsten, everyone who's been on here. This is a last shout out here. If you learned something, hit the like button, subscribe, and share with others everything that you've learned. So, Hazel, you guys are great. I love it. Keep up the learning. Remember that you have more power over your health than you've ever been told. I just showed you just a handful of things by connecting myself here. I'm opening myself up to you guys, just so you can learn how much power you have. Imagine if you could do this with yourself every day, or twice a day, or 3 times a day, maybe once every hour. We take oral medications once a day, twice a day, 3 times a day, right? But do we focus on ourselves and check in with ourselves and be conscientious of our own breathing 2 or 3 times a day? I'm guilty. I don't do it sometimes I forget, right? But it's so, if you could do this once an hour, think of how powerful that could be compounded over days, weeks, months, and ultimately a lifetime, right? So I hope you all are learning. Okay, awesome. Kirsten, you guys are great. And Jay, you're so welcome. Cynthia, thank you so much for your support. I hope everyone has a good night. I look forward to seeing you guys hopefully one more time this week. We'll have to see where life takes us. But till then, you have more power over your health than you've ever been told. Till next time.